हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम यू ऑल टू एआई की पाठशाला। एआई की पाठशाला आपकी अपनी पाठशाला है। यहाँ आप आ सकते हैं और फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, मशीन लर्निंग, पाइथन और बहुत सारी चीजें पढ़ सकते हैं। Whatever session I am conducting, it's absolutely free. Any one of you can join me in the session and do live coding and live projects along with me. So that's all. So every day I conduct a live session at 10 p.m. IST. Those of you who are watching my recorded session, you can go to the description section of the video and join my Telegram group link from there, so that you can get the link of my live session. Every day I post the link there only. So that's all. Now let's start. Yesterday we have started errors and exception handling in Python. So we have already covered the first session of errors and exception handling in Python. This is the second session. It is the continuation of the last session. So let me share you my screen first, and then we are going to do. So is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes.
Oh, I suppose Ruchi has joined. Okay, fine. You are on time. That's great. I was worried because if you miss, I have to repeat it again if you join in between. So, so fine. That's good. I can understand everyone has their own task. They have to first finish their work also. So, I suppose you guys are not having any doubt, because yesterday I've cleared all your doubts after this session. So today we are going to start now. So, and this is the, I suppose, 36th session of error and exception handling. So whatever we have discussed yesterday, we are going to do something more today. So first let me write here, then I will. There are two popular saying for code styles. There are two popular code style sayings, and those are, one is called LBYL and the second is called EAFP. EAFP. If you meet any guys in the coding community, those guys are aware of these two words. What is the full form of this? This is called look before you leap. Pratyush, are you typing something? Let me just don't type anything, Pratyush. I have disabled the request, I suppose. Don't type anything. Fine. So this second is called EAFP. What is EAFP? EAFP is called the full form of EAFP, called easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. I will provide you the detailed description of all those things in the notes. So let's understand what is this first. Let's understand what is this LBLF. Look before you leap. You leap. I suppose from the this full form of this word, look before you leap, you might have understood its meaning. What it is asking you, to look into something before you get into it. And this is something called easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. So what this, I will explain you both of these things with the help of code. So it is easier to explain these things with the help of code. So first of all, let's look into LBYL. What this LBYL is actually. So let's take one program. Let's take one simple code, and with the help of code, let's try to understand how this actually works. My list. This is a list, and let's assign some value inside this list, 1, 2, 3. And let's put one condition. So I want to what I am going to do. I want to let me write. I want to assess the value at, let's say, zero index. I want to access the value in this list at 0 index. For that, what program I need to write? This is my list. Suppose this is my list. And let me write a program for you. If length of this my underscore list is greater than 0. So first element. So guys, keep on typing along with me. Do not wait. Keep on typing and keep on executing along with me. These are the code which is very easy, and you already have studied these kind of codes, so it is not at all difficult. And second thing is put a else here and print list is empty. EMPTY. See what I have done inside it. First of all, I have taken one list, and this list, suppose this list has 3 elements, 1, 2, and 3. And I want to access the value at 0 index. Fine. But let's say if the list is empty, and if I want to access the value at the 0th index, what I will get? I will get an error. Are you getting my point? If I want to access the value, let's say this is a list, and if I want to access, let's run this program. So, and if you want to print it, let's print print first underscore element. If you again run this, you will get 1, because my 0th index value is 1. So I'm getting it. But I am thinking of a situation where why simply this is my list, and if I want to access the value at the 0th index, it is very simple. I should write my list 0. I will get the value at 0th index. I will simply write this thing. Let's say if I simply write this thing, I will get the value at the 0th index. There is no issue. So what is the use of writing all these things? This is a use. What is the use? Let's say if my list, if someone has given me a task to find the value at the 0th index, and let's say if the list doesn't have a 0th index, let's say if the list is empty, let's say my underscore list 1 is equal to an empty list, and I want to access the value I underscore list 1. I want to access the value at 0th index. What will happen? I will get an error. And what is this error? List index out of range. So this is one condition I know before actually I have started finding the value at the 0th index, that let's say if my list is empty, I will get an error because I will get this error, index error, and list index out of range. So beforehand, I'm sorting this error by writing a condition. That's why I have written this condition, so that if a condition comes where if I give an empty list, I do not get an error. My program should still run. So what I'm doing, I am finding length of my list. I'm giving this condition, if condition. In if condition, I'm writing if length of my list is greater than 0, then what is my first element? Just length of my list, and in the bracket, square bracket, I'm writing the index value 0, and here I'm printing that value. And in the else statement, I'm writing this print statement, list is empty. And if length of my list is not greater than 0, so instead of getting the error, I will get this print statement, list is empty. Fine. So let's take this code again and let's keep it here. And let's do one thing, make this list empty this time. Make this list empty. And now run this. So I am not getting, my program is still running, and I'm not getting any error. But instead of the error, I have sorted out this error in the code with the help of this if else statement. This is one way of sorting out the, this is one way of handling the exceptions that occur in the program. But in this way, what the terminology is, look before you leap. So before I am actually getting inside the program, I am resolving my, I just planned, I saw that this is one thing that can give me an exception, that can throw me an exception or error. So let's resolve it with the help of this if else statement. There may be some other, if there is some other scenario, we can use some other thing there. So this is one way of resolving the issue. This is called leap before you look before you leap. This style of coding is called leap before you look. Fine. Is this thing clear? What actually you are doing, you are explicitly checking for conditions or errors before performing an action. Fine. So let me write here, you are here, what you are doing, let's write here, then it will be better. What you are doing, explicitly checking for conditions or errors before performing an action. Fine. Now let's take one more example to concretize this concept. Let's say, let's import OS and give the name file, import OS file underscore, let's say path, and let's give the name my file test file, not test file. I have already, test file is already present in this test file dot txt, text file 1 dot txt. Let's give this thing name of this is the name of my file. Now I am writing one condition. What I want to say, I want to print the content of this file. There is one file, let's say there is one file present in my whatever file. There may be one file, I want to read a content of any file which is present in my system, let's say. For that, I am writing a code. So first I am defining the path. Either you can define a path or name. So here I am writing this file underscore path. Here I am writing the name. This is one variable. And let's do os dot path path dot exists exists exists, and then give the file path file underscore path. This is the same as if you write file underscore name and colon. Then we have already studied with open, and then give the name of this thing file underscore path. And then let's say, since I want to read the content of a file, let's open this in read mode and give it a name alias as file file. Fine. And then you have to put a colon here also. Then let's take one variable content is equal to file dot read. So, and finally print.
What is this import OS?
Let me write it, then I will explain you. And in the else statement, write print file does not exist. File does not exist. Fine. So what is this import OS? This is a module we have already covered. We have already discussed this thing in various details in our previous sessions, I suppose. I have taken one complete session on this import OS, then os dot get cwd, os dot chdir, change directory, os dot mkdir, make directory, os dot. Are you remember? Do you remember
operating
this?
system?
Yes. So this is a module, and inside this module there are lots of methods which we use, which I am using. So say, let's say I want to read the content of a file, some file, and I want that if, let's say, so what is the thing, how can we read the content of a file? Simply we can read the content of a file with the help of, we can open the file, and with the help of the read file, I can read the content of a file. This is a very simple way. But let's say if the file that I want to open and read its content, if the file doesn't exist, so what will happen? My program will throw me an error. Because if the file doesn't exist, so program will not understand what it is supposed to do. So it will throw an error. So I am considering that thing beforehand. See what I have written: explicitly checking for conditions or errors before performing an action. Before actually reading the file, I am providing all those conditions which can throw me an error, and I am handling that condition. So here, how I am handling that condition? So say this is the file. I can give anything here. Let's say this is one file that I already know exists in my system, in my directory. So I am writing this if. In the if block, what I am writing, os.path.exist. This will show you what it will do. This will verify if this file exists or not. If the file that I am, the name of the file that I am writing here, if the file exists, so this thing, let me open my pen. So let me open. So if this file if this file that I'm opening right now, if this file actually exists in my directory, this line is checking that. If this condition will become true, then and only it will go inside this and it will perform the operation of opening the file with read mode. And this as is an alias for the big name file. I'm replacing this text file 1.txt with this alias called file. If let's say let me open. So if let's say this file which I'm trying to open doesn't exist, and this condition will become false. If the file exists, then only this condition will become true and it will go inside it. And if the file doesn't exist, this condition will become false. Then what will happen? It will not go inside this if statement. Instead of this, it will come here in the else block and it will print this message file does not exist. And if I will not do that, and if I will give a name, any name of the file that doesn't exist, it will throw you an error. But in this case, it is not going to throw you an error. Do you understood this? Now let's understood with the help of let me.
Can you once again?
Okay. Where you are facing difficulty in understand, can you tell me?
The first part.
Okay. See, what I have asked you, this is a question. I am asking you to open a file, simple, and read the content of the file. Fine.
Okay.
To read the content of any file, what you will do? What is the first thing that you want to do? You will first check whether the file exists or not.
Yes.
If the file doesn't exist, how can you read the content or how can you even open the file? So first what I am doing, this is a file name. You can file path I have written here because if the file exists somewhere, so I have to give the path. But since this file is in the same directory in which I am operating, so this is the same. So this is the, let's say this is a file name which actually exists in my directory right now, or I do not know whether this exists or not. I do not know. Let's suppose I do not know. So first thing what I will do to read this file, first thing what I will do, I will check whether this file exists or not. So this is the condition for checking os.path.exists. If the file exists, this is the file name. It will check if the file exists, what it will give it. True. Is it fine? If the file exists, Mr. Sir, can you answer?
Yes, true.
So what will happen if the true, if will become true, this thing will become true, it will go inside this. It will come inside this block, inside this if block, and what it will do? With open file name and read mode. So it will open the file.
What is R?
This R is mode, read mode.
Okay.
I have already discussed these things in my previous sessions. If you revise, you will understand. Fine. So this is a mode. When I open a mode or when I write something, when I open any file, I have to give a mode in which I want to open it.
Yeah.
So here, since I want to read the content of a file, so I'm opening it in a read mode.
Okay.
Then finally, what is my task? I want to read the content. So I am reading the content. Content is equal to file dot read. And finally, I want to even print it. So I am printing here the content. And I will get my result. But let's say if this file doesn't exist. If this file doesn't exist, then in that case, what will happen?
File will not exist. Print.
This condition will become false.
Yes.
Then it will not go inside this block. It will directly come to the else part. And it will this will execute whatever thing that is written inside a else part will execute. What is it I have written inside the else? File does not exist. Fine. Is it fine for you?
Yeah.
So file doesn't exist. I have written. So this block of code will get executed and I will get the result. File does not exist, but it will not throw me an error because I have handled the error in the form of if else statement. I have provided the condition. If the file doesn't exist, give me this print statement. So I've handled it. So this is called explicitly checking for conditions or errors before performing an action. So I have explicitly, and now let's understand this with the help of, let's run this code, and rest thing, let's understand with the help of by running the code. Let's first run this code. What is happening? File 1.txt exists. That's why it is going inside this, and it is opening the file, and it is reading the content of the file, and finally it is printing what is written inside this file. Fine. Are you getting?
Yes.
Now let's take the same code, and instead of this file 1, let's write something here. And now let's run it again. What I am getting? I am getting this thing, file does not exist.
Can you come to line number 6?
What? Line number 6? Yes.
No, this 7. Previous one.
This. Which
Yeah,
line
this
number?
how it print. This is second line. This is third line. Provide free education to all.
Which you are talking about?
Yeah, this is second line. This is third line. Provide free education to all.
This is you are talking.
Yeah.
These things are present inside this test file 1.txt, and I am reading this file, na.
But in the line number 5, it print file does not exist.
So
the previous line.
This line.
Previous line.
This line.
Previous line.
This line.
No. Previous. No. Before this.
This.
No, before this. Come on the top side. Top side. Yeah, this line. This line is empty.
This line?
No. For line number 5, line list is empty. And here file does not exist. Okay.
This is a separate question. This is a separate thing. This is a separate thing.
Yeah, it's okay.
Why you are intermixing both? This is a separate thing. This is completely separate question. So there is no link between these two. This was a separate thing. I have discussed this code first. Then this is the second code that I am discussing right now. And whatever it is here, it is actually reading the content of the file and just printing it. Fine.
But in my case, it is printing file, it does not exist. It's not printing this is second line.
This is what I'm explaining you from half an hour. That if the file doesn't exist, how can it print something inside it?
No, but in your case, this is writing. This is second line. This is third line.
Because this file already exists, na?
Okay, okay.
And these things are written inside this file. That's why it is printing. And this
Okay.
file doesn't exist. So what it shall print? It shall print the thing that is written in else part, na? Are you getting?
But in my case, in both the cases, this file does not
See,
exist.
doesn't compare your with mean, because the file in my system is different. The file that is inside your system is different.
Okay, okay, okay.
You have to create file, otherwise you have to take the name of the file that already is existing in your system, in your directory.
Yes.
If you take the file that is already existing in your directory, and if you have written something inside it, then you will get the message, and this is different in your system and this is different in mine, because the file in both of us are maybe different. Is it fine?
Yes.
Now you got the clarity?
Yes, yes.
Ruchi, you got the clarity?
Yeah, I got the clarity. I actually run this same code and I removed it else statement from the code. And when I run it, why it's not showing me any error? It must show the error, no? Because this file doesn't exist in my setup.
Let's take this very simple thing. Don't go inside this
Yeah.
code. Just take this
Yeah.
one. Just go,
Okay.
don't go inside this thing.
Okay, fine.
Just take this thing. This is one file name. Let's give something else, which I know doesn't exist in my system, in my directory. Fine.
Okay, fine.
Now I want to read the content of a file.
Fine.
So what I will do, I want to read the content of a file. So for this, first thing that I have to do is to open this file.
Yeah.
So how can we open this file?
Using R.
Simple thing. What I used to do for opening the file. Will you remember? Do you remember? Open. Simple
Open,
thing. Just go.
Yeah.
Then file name.
Open, then file name.
So let's give this name. Let's, instead of this file path, let's file name. So let's give it this file name. File name. Thereafter, I want to simply read it. So I have
so I will write R, whatever
R.
we want to.
Okay. And save this in some, let's say, F thing. Let's save this thing in some F. Then what you want to do? You want to read it.
Read it.
What you will do F dot read, read. Fine.
Fine.
Now if you run this, let's see what will happen. This is simple. Don't look into this. This is very simple. This is a file name. This is a file. I am opening this file by giving the file name, comma, in read mode, and then I am reading it. So what error I am getting? See here. File not found error. You get it?
Yeah.
Why I am getting this error? Because this file doesn't exist actually. So if the file doesn't exist, so it is not able to open this file. And if the file is not even existing, how it can open it? How I can read the content of a file? So it is throwing me this error, file not found error.
Okay.
This is what I want to explain you here. To deal with such situation, to deal with this type of situation in which, let's say, I will give you it. And now if you put the same file name here, let's see. Let's understand this. Just replace this with this file name. Okay. Let's do one thing. Keep it here so that it will not be confusing. Let's take here. Now, what I am doing this time, I am simply copying this file from here, which is throwing me an error. See, this file is throwing me an error when I'm trying to read it.
Yeah.
Now, because that file doesn't exist, now I'm writing the same file name here, and this time I'm running this code. Am I getting any error?
No.
I am getting the message which I have written inside it. And what message I am written? I have provided a condition here that if the file exists, then open this file, read the content of the file, and print the content of it.
Yeah.
And if the file doesn't, if condition is if condition will become false, then my control will pass to the else block. And what I have done in the else block, I have written this statement, file doesn't exist. So I have handled the error which is supposed to happen. I have handled it previously. Explicit. That's why I have written it here above, explicitly checking for conditions or errors before performing an action. So before I am actually doing my action, I am writing, I am considering that case which can throw me an error, and I am handling that case. And here in this case, I have handled it. That's why even though this file doesn't exist, my program is still running. I'm not getting any error.
Okay.
I'm only getting this message that I am supposed to give. That what I have given here.
I am asking this. I got your point before. I'm just asking, just remove this else statement from the below code.
Okay.
The last one. Remove this else statement.
Okay.
Just remove the else statement, not the whole one.
Okay.
Just the else one.
Yes, I have removed, let's say, else block.
Now run the code.
Okay.
Why I'm not getting error? That's what I'm asking.
Okay. If the code, if this statement is coming to be false, if this statement is coming to be false, so this is exactly what is happening. If this statement is coming to be false, then whatever is written inside this if block is skipped.
Okay.
Whatever is written inside this if block is getting skipped, and you are not getting an error here. This is also one way of handling the error. This is also one way of handling the error. If you do not want to write anything, if see here what I have written, if this doesn't exist, then execute this block and give me this print statement. But let's say if you do not want to write this thing, you can simply ignore this, and if you will write whatever is written inside this if block, whatever thing is written in after this if block, when the condition is false, it is getting skipped and you are not getting anything. Okay. This is also one way of handling the exceptions. But if you want, yes, is it? This is.
Okay.
This is also one way of handling the exceptions. In this case, in the case of file system, this is also one way of handling the exception. Got it?
Got it.
Shall we move ahead?
Yeah, sure, please.
So this is the only explanation. There is
Okay.
no other explanation beside this.
Okay. Thanks.
So let's move ahead. So what I was talking about, let's discuss this thing. So I suppose this is clear. Now we can move ahead. Import. Let me have a water, please. In the same way, now I am giving you one more example to showcase you. One more example to showcase this thing. Look before you leave. So now one more example, let's say I want to access a value inside a dictionary. And let's write any dictionary first. And let's say I want to access the value inside this dictionary. My underscore dict is a dictionary. Let's say name of the dictionary. And let's name as let's give a key value pair, writes name here, writes the name as AI Ki Pathshala. Let's write name, and then let's write something else. Write location, or let's write roll number of this AI Ki Pathshala, and give it a roll number something 3454. Fine. So this is my dictionary. Fine. And let's say I want to find something which is, this is a key and this is a value associated with this thing, and let's first run it, then I will explain it. Fine. Now I want to access a key inside this dictionary. So what I will do? What I will do? What I will do? Can you remember?
No, will you repeat once, please?
I want to access, let's say I want to access this key name which is present inside this dictionary. I want to see the value which is present inside this dictionary. So what I will do? I want to find the value. This is a key name, and this is a value of this key AI Ki Pathshala, and this is a key role, and this is a value associated with this roll number. And let's say I want to access the value of this key name. So what I will do? This thing I will do.
Value.
I will write key.
Value.
Key. So what is my key?
Name. Name roll number
is my key. And if I will access, I will write key inside this. I will get the value associated with this key. Is it fine?
Yes.
Let's say if I want to access any key that doesn't exist, let's say write Ruchi here. And since I know Ruchi doesn't exist, what will happen? It will give me an error, key error. Fine. And what is this error? Key error, that this key doesn't exist. Now I want to deal with this thing so that it doesn't throw me an error. For doing it, what I will write? I will write this in a way so that this program will not throw me an error. So write this thing. First write this, first take this key, this dictionary, and thereafter let's write key is equal to something. Let's write your name, Ruchi here. And I know that Ruchi doesn't exist, so it is throwing me an error here. Now I'm writing this condition so that it doesn't, that means I'm handling this error, what I'm getting. If key, this is a key which I want to look inside this dictionary, which I want to, whose value I want to find inside this dictionary. So what I'm writing is key in my underscore dict. Value is equal to my underscore dict, then write key here. What I'm asking, if this key Ruchi in my dict, means if it exists in my dictionary, then give me the value. And what is my value? My dict. And this inside this square bracket, I am writing this key, I will get this value. Fine. If you want to print value. Otherwise, in the else block, I am writing print. Let's write f string so that it all the concept will get revised. Do you remember this f string? Write this key.
Yes.
Here inside this thing, sorry, inside this thing, key doesn't exist. Key does not exist. So, and just fine. So I am writing this condition here. And let's run this. Okay. Oh, sorry. I have to write key here. Now let's run it. See. Here, when I was trying to find this Ruchi, I was getting an error. But here, when I'm trying to find this key, I'm not getting any error. Instead, I am getting this statement, Ruchi key does not exist. It is telling me that this key doesn't exist, but it is not throwing an error because I have handled this error in a very graceful manner. That's why my program is still running, but I'm not getting an error. Do you get it? Hello?
Yes.
Have you understood this thing? And let's, instead of this Ruchi, let's give it a key which actually exists inside it. So what will happen? Instead of this Ruchi, let's give key roll, because roll number, I know that roll number exists. So if you simply run it, you will get this value 3454 because this exists. So it is giving me this value, and that doesn't exist. Instead of throwing me an error, this I have written one else block, and I exclusively written this print statement to print this. So I am getting the print thing, Ruchi does not exist. So this was what I was discussing, called look before you leap. Now let's understand. So easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. We can understand this with the help of the code only, because it is easier to understand these concepts with the help of code. So EAFP. Let me write. Oh, I have written already. So let's just jump to the code. Now in this EAFP approach, what this approach is, you assume that the code will work as expected and handle any exception or error that arise. Instead of checking the conditions beforehand, you perform the operation first and then catch and handle the exceptions if they occur. So I know you will not understand simply by, that's why let's take one code and let's do the same question with the help of code. So first take this one, let's say this was my dictionary. There was a list, I suppose. Okay. So first write one thing. Let's write here one list, my underscore list. Let's say this is my list, and let's say I have written one empty list. Since this is an empty list, and if I want to access this the zeroth element present at the zeroth index, it shall throw me an error. We know that. So how to handle this situation? So I am writing this try block first. Inside this try block, what I am writing, first element is equal to element is equal to, what is my first element? My underscore list 0. So what happens that whatever thing that may throw an error, I will write it inside this try block that we have already discussed yesterday also. Whatever thing that may throw me an error, so I will write that thing inside this try block. And if it will throw an error, then I will write a second block which is called except block, which will handle that error. So I know that if, let's say, if I'm accessing something which is actually doesn't exist, so what here in this case, in this scenario, it will throw me an index error. So this except block is taking care of, is handling this error. This try block is something, and this except block is a block which is handling this error. And I want to print some message for the user, let's say. So let's print the message, list is empty, empty, or index out of range. Fine. So this is one thing. So what now? Let's say first write 1 comma, let's write something 42 comma 45 comma 67 comma 78. Let's say this is my list, and here print, let's write print here, so that print first element. So element. Now let's run it. What I am getting? 32. Why I am getting 32? Because first this block is executing, and see, one thing you have to always remember, whenever this try block will execute, whenever this try block is getting executed, if this block of code will execute, then this block of code will not execute. Why? Because this block of code only come into picture, only come into consideration when I will face an error in this block of code. When the condition provided in this block of code will not met, or it may throw an error, then that error is handled by this except block. Is it fine? So here, since it is checking first element, my element is 0, position this 32, it's fine. It is printing this. So I am not actually getting inside this block. My program ends here. Do you understood this? Please tell me yes or no. Guys? Guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am.
Actually, I'm not getting this first. I am, in my case, it is printing first element, first underscore element.
Ruchi, you? Ruchi?
What? Yeah.
Are you understanding? Do you understood this thing?
Yes. Understood.
So what was your issue, sir? Please tell me.
Actually, in my case, when I am running the program, then it is writing first underscore element as the output and not as this thing.
You must be doing something wrong. I am pinging you the code in chat box. Just copy that code and paste it in your cell and let's run it. See. You must be doing something wrong.
No, I'm not doing anything wrong.
Are you sure you are not doing anything wrong?
Yeah.
Then do one thing. Open and restart your kernel. Clear output and restart your kernel and run it again. Here, go here, restart and clear output and then run it again. It will run. Try it. Try to do it.
No, again it is printing first element.
Okay, share me your screen. Share me your screen. I am stopping sharing here. So and giving you the permission to share. Let me give you a permission to share.
Sir, I'm sleeping now.
Okay, fine. Go. Go. From where I have to give the permission.
Post disabled participant screen sharing.
Yes. No, share your screen. Now share your screen. My underscore list. Fine. Try. First underscore element is equal to my underscore list 0. Fine. Just print first underscore element. Okay. So you have you just remove the double quotation from first element, first underscore element. Just remove the double quotation. Okay. Remove it. Remove it. Now run.
Okay.
Do you got it?
Yeah.
Fine. Now you can stop sharing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's share. Exception handling part 2. Fine. So now my screen is visible. Fine.
Yes.
So fine. So what I was discussing here. So I am getting this thing. Now let's remove all the elements and now run it. This time what I am getting, since it is trying to see this, what try block is doing, this try block is this first element inside this try block, this first element I am trying to access this element that is at the 0th index, but since it is not present, so it is throwing an error. And to handle that error, I am writing this except block. And this error is index error. So I am writing this index error here. And then I am printing this thing. I want to print whatever message I want to print. So now this except, this time what is happening? This except block is coming into picture. This try block is not executing. I am getting an error here. So it is not coming inside this try block. It is coming inside the, but it is not going here. I am facing an error. So I am jumping to the except block, and this except block is executing, and this is an index error, and this is printing this message, whatever I have provided. List is empty or index out of range. So what I am trying to tell you, I have handled this error in a way that it is not giving me an error. Fine. If I would not have written this condition, I would have got an error. So this way of writing a code is called EAFP. You do not need to remember these things. This is just a name which you have to understand only this try, except, and other things that I have discussed, and I am going to discuss in the just now. So you have to just understand all those things. So do you understand how this try and except block is working? So now, if you have understood this, let's discuss some more code to reinforce your learning or concretize your learning further. Now again, I am discussing one same thing. Let's discuss same thing with the help of this example. What we have discussed in the previous, let's take this example. Let's take this example. Let's take, but this time I am going to deal with this situation with the help of fine. Let's say this is a now whatever thing that may give me an error, I will write that inside the try block. So I am not checking for the condition this time. Earlier, since I was not writing this try and except block thing, so I was writing this condition if else. This time I am not going to write this if condition or this else condition. Instead of this if and else condition, I will deal with it in a different way, in a LBLF, whatever that name is, LBYL form. So let's remove this if block and remove this else block also. Instead of this if block, whatever thing I have told you that may whatever thing that may throw me an error, I will write it inside this try block. And thereafter, I will write my condition. Here, I want to open a file. So I will write with, then I will write open. I will give the file path or file name. Then I want to read it, so I will write this mode R as file, or you can write F. Let's write F here. F is easier to read. And then whatever content you want to read, so that content is F dot read. And then finally you want to print that content. And let's say if this file doesn't exist, so this is a try block. What this block is checking? This is checking file name. If the file exists, open it in the read mode. If it is opening it, if the file exists, then and only it will open. If the file doesn't exist, it will not open. Fine. And it is checking the content by, it is reading the content, and finally it is printing. And if let's say file doesn't exist, then it will throw you an error. So to deal with that error, I am writing this except block. EXCEPT, except block. So in this except block, this is a error that happens in these scenarios, and for that error you have to write file not found error. This is a standard error. This is a, I will explain you how, from where this file not found error, and from where I have written the index error, from where all those things are coming. I will explain you in some time. For the time being, let's understand this thing. I am writing this, and then whatever thing that I want to print, give it to the user, I will write it here. So let's write file does not exist, EXIST, or cannot be opened. So now run it. What wrong I am doing? AEX try with open file underscore path, then open it in read mode as F. Let's, okay, content F dot read. This is also
as file should be written, Sham. We have written
as file. Okay, let's put as file not found, file. Okay, file not found error. This is also fine, except this is also file does not exist. Let's run this. Okay, let's restart and clear output. Let's run it again. File underscore path test file is open file underscore path. Content file dot read print content. Okay, except file not found error. Not found error. File not found error. Cell 1 line try with content file dot read. Is when I'm getting this one. Not defined. It should run. Okay, let's do it in a, let's take the name of this file, test file 1, and let's run the same code. It is running. So why, if this is running, why this is not running? Now change the name of the file, test file 2, 3, 4, 5. Try file not found.
My code is running.
Your
File does not exist or cannot be opened. This is printing.
okay, file exists error. It's not error.
No.
No,
But my is running and yours not.
your is running,
Yeah.
so my is not running. Let's file not found error, no? Yes.
Yeah, file not found error. I did the same you did.
Not found error. It happens in Jupyter Notebook. So this is an issue of Jupyter Notebook. Very soon we will be switching to VS Code. So there we will not find, we will not get this kind of thing. We will not face this kind of thing at all there. File not found error. What is
ये round error
not found error? This bar. Actually, this is okay. Now this is working fine. See, even I do not understood what happened. I'm telling you, but it has worked.
Earlier you have written as F, and the next time you have written file. That's
No,
why it's
no. If I write F here, if
then
I
also
write,
it will
then also it will work. See, if I run this, still it's work. Because this is an alias, you can write anything. And if I writing F, I have to write F here also. Is this working right now, na?
Yeah.
Is working?
Then why it was not working?
So it is, see, Jupyter Notebook sometimes get hanged and it is not able to understood what the user is trying to, what I have to answer it. So this is a problem of this is a problem of Jupyter Notebook. And all these problems is sorted as soon as we will switch to Visual Studio Code. So very soon I will be introducing you to Visual Studio Code. Thereafter we will stop using Jupyter Notebook and we will do whatever thing we are going to do, we will do it in VS Code. Fine. But as a beginner, it is always good to start with the Jupyter Notebook because it is easier to interact and do things. Because in VS Code, what happens is that a lot of functionality is present, so your mind will stop working because a lot of things Visual Studio will do for you. But here the thing is that you have to write it by yourself. So your mind will keep on functioning. You will keep on learning a lot. You will understand all those things as soon as I will write you. So fine. So do you understood?
Yeah.
How I have handled this error with the help of this try. Whatever thing that is supposed to give me an error, I have written it inside this try, and it read that, and this file doesn't exist. So instead of throwing me an error, it is giving me this except statement, this except block. I'm using this except block only for this purpose so that I can handle the error that I am getting here, and it has handled it, and it has given me whatever thing I have asked it to give it to the user. So it is giving me file does not exist or cannot be. But the function, but my program has ran. My program doesn't show me an error. So this is a way of handling the error with the help of, this is also called try catch block. Try catch block. In the try block, you write whatever condition you want to write, and in the except block, if it is and if that condition is throwing you an error, it is handled, you are handling it with the help of this except block. So hope this is clear to you. So what is the key differences between these two approach? So this approach, in this approach, LBYF approach, what you are doing? So you are checking the condition before taking an action. You are checking the condition before you are taking an action. But this approach is only suitable for situations where error is very common and it can be prevented very easily. You are able to understand what error it may throw. But EAFP is a standard way of writing a code. This approach, EAFP approach, is a standard way of dealing with the questions, a standard way of writing the code. In this way, you can handle any kind of error which may occur during the program execution. So this is what you have to learn. You have to actually keep your practice with this approach, this try and accept approach. In any like projects, software projects, only this approach we are following. And from now onward, whatever code that I have given you as an assignment, if you are writing those codes, try to implement this try and accept thing in your code, right? Because till now you haven't learned this thing, so it's fine. You were writing it like now. Whatever code you are going to write from today onward, you have to put this try accept block inside your code, so that your code will never throw you an error. It will never generate you an error. Fine. Let's delve deep into it and let's understand few more things. I will give you a complete note of all those things so that you can let me explain you some very important something for you. See, this is a exceptions and this is a description of the exceptions. What is this exceptions? This is called exception. This is a base class. Since I have not yet discussed class, we will be discussing the classes in object-oriented programming. So, but let's understand. This is one thing. Exception is a one class, base class of exception. All other exceptions are derived from this class. So, whatever you have understood the modules, inside a modules, there is a methods, different methods is defined inside a module. So this exception is a one class. Inside that class, all other exceptions fall into it. So whatever exception you will encounter in the programming, all those exceptions are actually derived from this exception only. This is a base class. All other classes of exception, all other exceptions categories are a part of this exception. Now I have categorized it in different most commonly occurring exceptions. This is arithmetic error. This base class, this is a class of exceptions. Whenever you will face any arithmetic related error, you will get this arithmetic error. Whenever you will get a zero division error, you will get, whenever you will divide something with zero, you will get zero division error. Whenever if you are trying to find import any module, but that module doesn't exist, this error you will get. This is a key error and this is a memory error. So we will discuss all these errors step by step with the help of a code. So let's discuss few type of error right now. So take a break of 2 minutes, guys, and have a water. Or so see, one by one, I am going to discuss this arithmetic error, zero division error, module not found error, key error. So this is first discuss arithmetic.
Hello? Hello? I'm not able to listen your voice. I'm not able to hear your voice. Hello? Hello?
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay. Fine. Oh, I don't know how this thing was muted. Fine. Let's again tell you. See, in this try block, this is an arithmetic error. Fine. So whatever error that occurs because during any mathematical calculation or any error related to the mathematics, that category of error fall into the arithmetic error. Fine. So deal with that error. This is to deal with this error, we use this arithmetic error. Fine. Now, let's say I am taking this example in the try block. This result, I am putting this 10 divided by 0. And I know when I divide 10 by 0, it will throw me an error. And this error is called division by 0 error. So since this is a mathematical error, it will raise as arithmetic error. So in the except block, I am dealing with this error by writing arithmetic error. And here I am writing as E. I will explain you what this E is. Simply the thing is that I am giving an alias as E. Whatever arithmetic error will give me, whatever thing that it is supposed to, I am explaining you this thing also. Let's take it as E and then print an arithmetic error occurred, and what that error is, I want to give the message to the user what exactly the error is. So give it E. So let's run it, then I will explain you once again. See what I am getting, arithmetic error occurred, and this E is division by 0. From where it is occurring, let me explain you. See here. So you must not have understood this E. So let me explain you here. If I simply write, let's say 10 divided by 0, what will happen? Ruchi?
It will show zero division error.
So if I simply run this, so this will show me a
Zero
here.
division.
But what is the exact message that I am getting? Division by 0.
Yeah.
This is this E thing.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Here I am getting division by 0. So what in the arithmetic class of error, this message I am getting. See this is error category, and this is a message I am getting division by 0. I want to give that message to the user. So I am writing this E here. If I will not write E here, I will not get this message. Even I can skip this and there is no harm in it. Let's do this thing. See, just skip this thing. Just skip this thing and run this. I am simply getting this message, an arithmetic error occurred. Do you find? But if you want to give a specific message to the user that what error actually, what is causing an error, so you have to write it like this as E, and then you have to put this E here. So what will happen, whatever will the message, error message that it is throwing you, it will run the program and it will show to the user that message. Are you getting? Is this thing clear? Fine. So now second thing, so we have you can also do the same thing in this way also. Let me take you. This is an arithmetic error specific, and this is a zero division error. This is called zero division error. This is also a category of arithmetic error, zero division error. So instead of this arithmetic error, I can also write this thing, zero division error, as E, and then I am getting here. If I run this, again I am getting the same message. Can you see this zero division error? And here I am writing arithmetic error, and in both the cases I am getting a noise from, lot of noise from, I suppose, Ruchi. Kindly mute yourself whenever you try to want to speak, you can speak. So see, Ruchi, ye zero division error as E, and I want to print it, I am getting the same thing, because this zero division error also belongs to the arithmetic error. That's why it is giving me the same message. Now
I'm not getting this message.
You are getting?
I'm not getting this message.
What message?
An arithmetic error occurred. This message I'm not getting. I'm getting name error. Why I'm getting name error?
Because see, I have written this message here, an arithmetic error occurred. That's why I am getting this, an arithmetic error occurred. And this E is giving me this thing, division by 0.
I'm not getting this.
Okay, if you are not getting, that's fine. You can share me your screen. If you want to share it right now, you can share it right now. Or at the end of the session, if you want to share, you can share it at the end of the session.
Okay, and then next.
Fine. So now the third thing is the module not found error. Module not found error. Module not found error. Let's see how this error, or let's try in the try block. Let's import one module which doesn't exist, non-existent non-existent module. This is the name of my module, non-existent module. Fine.
Fine.
So I know that this module doesn't exist and I want to import this module. So, and if I want to import any module which doesn't exist, I want to deal with that thing called module not found error. Fine. As small e. And finally, I want to print in the except block just copy it from here. Paste it. A module not found error occurred, and simply write what error is this. Simply write a small e and run this. A module not found error occurred. This is same what I have printed here. If you even do not want to print it, you can escape this code, escape this thing. You can simply write E. You will get no module name, non-existent module. Now do one thing, just for your understanding, I am doing. Remove this thing. Remove this thing. Simply write this and run it. This time what it is getting you? It is getting you this message, no module name, non-existent module. That means this class, module not found error class, is giving you this message, no module named this thing. So whatever module you are trying to import doesn't exist actually. So instead of throwing you an error, it is giving you this message. The next category of error is called key error. Key error. So let's understand this key error. That is the same error that we have. So let's only copy the code from that dictionary thing that we have discussed earlier, where it was. So dictionary. Okay. So yes. Just I will make some changes in this code. So inside this try block, name I have written, roll number I have written. So I do not need this if block. So just remove this if block. And even I do not require this else block. So remove this else block. And even I do not need this thing. So just remove it. Fine. So inside this try block, let's write value is equal to my underscore dict, and let's write Shankar, SHANKER Shankar here, and I know this Shankar key doesn't exist, so I put it inside this try block. So definitely it will give me and throw in me an error. So to deal with this error, I am writing except block, and for this I am writing KeyError as E, and finally I am printing this E. Now if I run this code, what will happen? See, value Shankar except E Shankar. Key error as E. Okay. So it is showing me this error that Shankar doesn't exist. Fine. So what it is, instead of giving me any error, what it is telling me, it is telling me the thing that you are writing here, the key that you are trying to access is not present, that is showing me. If I will write inside this print statement, so to make the thing more clear, let's write something inside this print statement. A key error occurred. If you write simply this thing and run it, it is giving you a key error occurred. And what is that key error? Shankar. That means this Shankar doesn't exist and you are trying to access. So it is not throwing me an error, it is handling the error with the help of this except block. One more thing is called the memory error. This is the memory error, MEMORY, memory error. What this memory error is? This error occurs when an operation runs out of memory. When an operation runs out of memory, this kind of error occurs. So let's understand this error. Try inside this try block. Let's write some very large number, LARGE, large underscore list. Fine. And let's write inside the dictionary. See, now the kind of program that I am coding is a mixed kind of program in which I am also using, sometimes I am using list comprehension, sometimes I am using the concept of file handling, sometimes I am using, I will be using the concept of while loop, sometimes I will be using the concept of for loop. So I am now playing with all those concepts that we have discussed earlier, so that it is also a revision for you, the earlier concepts that we have already discussed. So this is a list comprehension for I in range. Let's say I am giving a range 100 to the power, we have 1000 to the power, let's say 1000. This is a very big range. So what will happen? Let's first write me EXCEPT except MEMORY memory error 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 as E. Fine. And print this. First print this line MEMORY memory error occurred, and then print and then write this small e, whatever. See, since this is a very large number, 1000 to the power 1000, how much you will get? So what will happen? Whatever the memory capacity in my RAM, it will run out of the space and it will throw me an error. And that kind of error is called memory error. Let's run it. See, it is still running. See here, star. Star signifies this is running. It is still running because it takes a lot of time to execute this program, because 1000 to the power 1000, and finally when it will run out of memory, it will throw me an error. but still this is running. I don't know how much time it will take. So it will hang my system. So see, I'm canceling this execution, but let's understand for the sake of your understanding. After some time, it will throw me an error. After executing for a certain limit, when the memory, see what it is, kernel restarting. See, the kernel appears to have dead, it will restart automatically. Okay. So this memory, my kernel has been dead because of this. So just for your understanding, let's understand this. If you are trying to access something very large and it will occupy your memory space, it will throw you an error. And to deal with that error, you have to write this except block. So that you will not get an error. So I suppose I have to take one more session on error handling, because yet it has not been completed. So it's already more than 12 past 10. So क्या कहते हो दोस्त लोग, क्या किया जाए? कोड किया जाए या छोड़ दिया जाए? रुचि, रुचि, कोड किया जाए या छोड़ दिया जाए? छोड़ दिया जाए। नींद आ रही है नहीं?
नींद नहीं आ रही है।
So let's, guys, those of you who are watching my recorded session, so go to the description section of the video, subscribe my channel, put comments on the channel, and that's all. Come join us and have a healthy discussion, and let's debate, let's discuss, let's put question. So, and I am very happy, Ruchi, that now you are interacting very much, and this is a very good sign. You are putting questions and you are putting very genuine questions, and this is very good, and I appreciate you for that. And keep asking questions like that. Wherever you feel you are not understanding, you are not getting anything, ask. If let's say even I am not able to answer your question, I will answer the question sometime later, maybe. This may happen, this is not a big deal. This may happen that I am not, there is nothing sort of there, everyone knows everything. So if I do not know, so I will make sure that I will understand it, and then I will clear it off. Is this okay for you?
Yes.
So, but keep this momentum high, keep this repo high. I am really very happy that you are interacting and you are asking questions, and very genuine questions you are asking. This is the one thing. So keep asking this question. This will be your key for improvement. In this way, by asking the genuine questions, by asking this kind of questions, you are helping yourself for your improvement. But make sure one more thing, also keep on revising whatever concept we have already covered, because now you can see whatever the code I am discussing, I am using all the concepts that we have studied previously. So if you will not, if you do not have the clarity of those concepts, you will keep on asking questions which like say, which is very easy for you, if you like, that you should not have asked if you have revised. So that is all. So let me